Michelle, what's on your mind? What you got for
Oh
us?
boy. So I'm gonna say it's along the lines of social media, but it's just been a topic that I would say, being very combative with people. And it's about this fucking guy on TikTok named Andrew Tate.
Mm.
And I know I've sent you some of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously he's being labeled as a misogynistic, that he just fucking like someone hurt him. That's why he talks about women. And then there's a certain individual who was like, well, I kind of agree with some of his points of views, which I do. There's certain things that I do agree with him. And the minute I said that to my female friends, they're like, oh my God, that's like, he's toxic. Is that what you're into? And I'm like, no, it's just, there's certain things that he does make a valid point, but there's certain things that I feel like is very far-fetched and out of line. And you know well, someone told me that he's like the persona of stopping the whole hot girl summer, and I was kind of like, but how? Like I feel like he's, the way he speaks not only to women and towards women is very downgrading. But then I feel like he had this whole wave of like men, like, yeah, he's right. And then obviously there was other men going against him. Women apparently all hate him. And then the few women that
like
do
the new Kevin Samuels.
right, and the few women that do agree with him, they start getting shitted on for agreeing with him with some of the things. Like I said, there's certain things I do agree with, and there's a lot that I don't. But it's
Waykme, are you familiar with Andrew Tate?
No, I just Googled him and I can't believe some of the shit that listen, I'm surprised in this culture that we live in that he still has a voice. Right.
So
well, they blocked him on all social media.
So
Paul, so I Googled him. He also thinks rape victims must bear responsibility for their attacks.
Yes. So to give you a quick rundown,
slap, grab, choke, shut up, bitch, sex.
You might recognize this man.
I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So she wants to do OnlyFans. She owes him some money because she's his.
Women should clean. And I sat there and I thought, how are women allowed to drive?
Andrew Tate is a self-described misogynist who has recently been booted off Instagram and Facebook. And his actions have been described as capable of radicalizing men and boys to commit harm offline. The 35-year-old is a former professional kickboxer who now creates content and runs an online course in modern wealth creation at a company he founded called Hustlers University. He's publicly said that he made his first million when he was just 27 years old, and that by 32 he had 100 million. He's also said that he became a trillionaire quite recently. But the problem is that there are actually no trillionaires on the planet, with Elon Musk estimated to be worth $250 billion. Essential Sport says that Tate's net worth is closer to $30 million.
Fucking air stewardess is minimum wage.
His videos promoting misogyny have come to prominence this summer. He had 4.7 million Instagram followers at the time that his account was removed. It had grown rapidly from 1 million followers just 2 months before. Although his account has been banned from the platform, TikTok has been flooded with content about Tate. Videos with the Andrew Tate hashtag have been viewed more than 12.7 billion times. But it's important to note that this number doesn't just include content of Tate and his supporters, but instead videos criticising and making fun of the influencer.
Everybody knows the quickest kid in class gets all the bitches. That shit still applies today. The reason I get my pick on the most beautiful woman in the world is because I am the fastest man in the galaxy.
He was permanently banned from Twitter for saying that women should bear responsibility for being sexually assaulted. But he is still on YouTube, with over 750,000 subscribers. When interviewed by another YouTuber, he said he was absolutely a misogynist. But Tate has also told The Guardian that he plays a character in his videos and that he's actually innocent. He appeared on the 2016 season of UK Big Brother, but was evicted from the series after a video of him beating a woman outside of the show surfaced. He says that this video was a joke.
I love Trump. And yes, some people coin him as the new Kevin Samuels. He's very more extreme though. Kevin was more about relationships. His end goal was marriage, being with someone, and being
your
with one
right
person.
person and your stats of what you, he measured it differently compared
Andrew
to how
Tate
Andrew's
is
doing it.
more about, you know, when it comes to marriage, and this is where, like you said, you even the worst pastors, you're gonna agree with some of what he says because he's reading from a Bible, and that's what Andrew does. He'll give you a good quotable to explain his derogatory feelings. You know, so for example,
Right.
yes, he would speak about marriage, but then he'll say, but in the Bible it says, you know, the father gives the woman away to her husband. And he said, because she's my property. It's like, whoa, I was with you, and then you went out the window. Yes, the father does walk the woman down the aisle, and then the pastor asks, who gives this woman away? Da da da. Yes. Now, again, back in the days, yeah, wives were exchanged for a donkey and some land. Cool. However, today's time,
I'll be damned.
you're not exchanging, a donkey and some
The day
land.
a guy calls me his property. Bitch, what? 0 to 100. You're gonna get knocked out.
And also, again, Andrew Tate, yes, he started out. He started out. Again, this was some people say.
I feel still there's
There's a male empowerment kind of movement now thing, but again, there's a few people that take it to extremes, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Like Waykme brought up, he's mentioned rape victims have to take accountability for it. Huh?
Because of the way that they're dressed. And that was the one that I was like,
and then
I was like, there's bitches that get raped in regular clothes.
But then he started, he also has something called Hustlers University.
Women.
He has this thing called Hustlers University where he considered to be like the Illuminati, but cooler. And in this thing, he says if you donate some money to him, he'll teach you how to be a hustler and drive cars like he do and get women like he does, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, no thanks.
He's basically a shyster. And again, like Michelle said, he uses certain things that can be agreeable with, but in the long run, he wants you to send him money to make himself money to become more famous and to grow from that. He really doesn't care about anyone. He's not caring about empowering any men. He doesn't care about women. He cares about making himself financially better, and that's what it comes down to. Now, what happened was his tactic of doing it wasn't making his own YouTube or Instagram. He within his Hustlers University, he kind of did like Fight Club. He had a pyramid scheme of you guys sign up, you post me on your page, and then it'll go viral as we trickle it down, yada yada yada. Very smart using social media because, and at the end of the day, he's banned right now. However, his message carries on because now he's looked at as a martyr to those who did follow him that keep sharing his videos and stuff because he's appeared on other people's podcasts, other shows, other networks and things, and all of that still exists. So you can ban him specifically directly. However, his media still gets shared because he primarily did it on other people's platforms and had other people share his videos and content. Very smart. So he found a way to infiltrate the internet, so to speak, to be Agent Smith in the Matrix. He found a way to
loophole.
And he found a loophole, and it was very smart. I don't know how much money he made from his Hustlers University and people that donate to him. But yes, he was banned because, again, some of the stuff he says can be used in certain, helpful relationship. But when he went to extremes as far as talking about rape victims and talking about, they said he would, meet women and bring them back to his country and stuff like that. And it's not kidnapping, but they considered it trafficking. And again, I don't know how the law is with that. If it's against their will, then maybe, but I don't know if the women agreed to that. But yes, Andrew Tate is now infamous. Like I said, he's looked at as a martyr now because those that did like him are now saying, "Oh, you want to silence him because he's speaking the truth," and da da da. So now all they did was bring him up even bigger, and it made him even more dangerous.
I just think people are looking for a new person to idolize and give them belief in things because people, I don't know, they just can't think for themselves anymore.
He's trying to give that
believe in what they want to.
Yes, that's one of the biggest things. Everyone is looking for guidance, leadership, someone that speaks and again, the moment there's been more men who have spoken out. They started this whole red pill manosphere thing, which kind of counteracted a women's liberation that was happening with, like you said, Hot Girl Summer, or certain things where women were kind of at the forefront of, you know, being outspoken, and men felt like they were being silenced. So then these certain men became retaliatory, and again, some of it is useful, some of them are very extreme, and I
think sometimes people don't listen to the message. They're focused on the people and the behaviors. Like they see this guy, he's looking cocky, he's looking arrogant. So sometimes instead of just
I want that.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just actually just listening, just let people speak their truth. You will understand everything you need to if you just let them talk and say what they gotta say.
And that was the biggest thing with Kevin Samuels, because a lot of people didn't listen to him. They took what he said from viral clips and labeled him a bad guy, when in actuality he was leading people towards marriage. A lot of the conversations he had with women was, well, why did you leave your last boyfriend? And they would say the answer. He was like, well, your best bet may be to work it out with him. You know what I'm saying? He would give relationship advice for the end game of marriage, kids, home, you know, the American dream, so to speak. Whereas Andrew Tate is like, I got a Lamborghini, I got a Rolls Royce, I got 3 women over there, 1 in the jacuzzi, 1 in my bedroom. You want to live this lifestyle? Send me some money, and you can live it too. And it's like, I like him. I would sign up for that. And it's like, whoa, wait, what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that, and he said some wild, like I said, to get banned, he said some, you know, if you really go down the rabbit hole, you'll see he said some wild, flagrant stuff. His foundation
the only
can
thing
be
that I'm
looked at
against
as. That's something, Michelle?
I'm sorry. The only thing that I am against is the fact that they did silence him. Whether people agree with him or not, like I just feel like his freedom of speech was taken away by banning him. You know, so that's the only, like, and I'm like scraping that on the floor.
So here's the catch, because I've had that conversation as well. Freedom of speech is what? The First Amendment to the Constitution.
Right.
But when you're on the internet, the Constitution doesn't exist. If you're on Twitter, you go by Twitter rules. When you're on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is president, senate, governor, so on and so forth. You go by those rules. So the things that we all sign up for that nobody reads, the end user agreements and all that stuff, do you agree? Click check, yes, okay. Once you violate that, those are not the laws that we abide by in the street when there's police and government, the judicial system, so on and so forth. It's this platform. So right now we're on YouTube. I have to abide by YouTube's rules until I don't longer want to do that. And then it's A2021Vision.com. You can go there right now and see every video, every episode, and buy merchandise. But that's my world. I control that. So I'm Mark Zuckerberg of A2021Vision.com. I can boot whoever I want off of there. So your First Amendment and all that stuff is irrelevant on these platforms, because that's an American law. That's not the Facebook law or the Twitter law or the Instagram and the TikTok. That's here, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, not a shameless plug, okay? It's a literal plug. I'm no shame. Literally wearing merchandise, homie picks. You can watch Jared
I'm waiting on
Lewin
mine, by the way.
Picks every Thursday, you know what I mean? But no shame at all. I love what I do. But again, that's the point. So everyone that gets mad, oh, Trump got banned from Twitter. Oh, deal with it. We all, I've been shadow banned on Instagram for stuff I've posted. And I've said far less stuff than they have. But they control the algorithm, they control what is seen on the internet, and it goes back to our previous conversation with social media about mental health and stuff. Everybody should watch that documentary on Netflix. I believe it's called The Social Experiment.
Yeah.
They control what you see, and they affect people's, you know, mental health and emotions for that moment of time. Again, it's their world. We all agreed and signed up for it. Waykme is not on social media. He chose to do so. Smart man. However, when we sign up and play that game, we playing in their rules. And now they're getting even more crazy. Now there's the metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg is having people put the VR goggles on and literally live in the Matrix. It's his rules. The Constitution.
I barely like this world. I'm gonna go to another one now.
Listen.
So to go to
that First Amendment thing, his amendment, his rights is not the same on the internet, and
Well,
and nobody's
thank you
are.
well, thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
But that was the only thing that I was kind of like,
None of our rights.
but
There's an end use agreement that we all for every program on our phone, every application we use. Read it.
America
Nobody
ain't really
does.
free, let's be
Nobody
honest.
reads it. But that's where your rights
America
are. So
ain't
as
really
far as
free.
your amendments and rules, it's in there. We don't own what we post. We don't have the right for none of that. So you do have to abide by those rules. So the women that post pictures for their OnlyFans and then they get banned and they be like, yo, Instagram hates me. You're naked. We have children here. Put some clothes on and then continue using it. However, here we have our own laws.
Go to Twitter with that.
Go to Twitter with that. They all, it's the Wild West over there, which is crazy. If you get banned from Twitter, you was really doing some reckless stuff because they allow everything.
For real. Okay.
But the point is, First Amendment, yeah, when you talk to the street in the world, you have the First Amendment right.
Yeah.
On the internet, social media,
well, that makes sense. You know,
got to go by their rules, and that's how that works. So his rights for what he said, they have the policy where they consider it bullying or whatever it fell under the guideline it fell under. He violated that rule. He did. There's no argument. Everyone can feel how they want to feel. He violated the rules. He offended people. He bullied people. He did that. It happened. Same thing for Donald Trump. Again, a martyr. Oh, but he was speaking the truth. Yeah. But again, as president, he had all right to cut into our TV shows and make an address at any given time. But he chose to do it on Twitter. That's not America. It's Twitter. That's international. That's a whole new ball game. Even the president can get banned. That's how that goes.
Okay.
So Andrew Tate, he's talking about what he do to women and how he feels about it. All right, cool. And my man, do me a favor, remove yourself. Okay. That's how that works.
I just think we need to get back, and I don't know what shift in the universe or whatever that men and women need each other. Like it's terrible out there.
Not only that, but also another.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Another thing too was the fact that how he like belittled like independent women, in the sense of like, oh, like just like let's just say if a woman was making six figures, and if a woman's like, well, if I'm making six figures, you need to be making the same as me or more. Or this, and to me, it's kind of like, well, if you know what you bring to the table, and if your partner just brings a little bit less to the table, but if you know that your partner is there for you through thick and thin, it doesn't matter what the income ratio is, as long as you have each other's backs, like.
Yeah.
I
wish it was like that. I've always been the breadwinner. And
I speak from past experience where I've been the breadwinner and I've been the one supporting, and because of the fact that I was so blindly in love, and I was like, no, I like, he's a good guy, this and that, and then shit hit the fan, and I'm like, well, damn, I just wasted fucking 4 years of my life, and it's like one of those things to start over again. I feel like when women go through those issues, women are kind of like, nah, fuck that shit. This is what I bring to the table. You need to either meet me or bring more. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that mindset. But when Andrew Tate was making it seem like, oh, women are, they're just trying to be like gold diggers and this and that. And it's kind of like, well, no, because if we already know the hardship that we went through and we know what we could provide, then I would expect the same back. So like, to me, it's like,
I think that conversation can be had, but I think it's where you at in you, because sometimes when we're still bitter from the last situation and we're attempting to like put ourselves out there again, we could come off seeming like, crazy. Like, oh, this chick lost her mind. She over here talking about this, that, and third. But it's like, I think it's in the mental space or just how you're coming across. Because I've been around my guys, and these women have come off, and I'm like, okay, but you doing all this, and what, like, and now I start to question, and I start to look at myself. I'm like, well, where am I at mentally when I'm saying these things? Like, where am I at? Like, what do I provide? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you always the breadwinner and stuff like that, but I mean, like, do you got your own house? You know what I mean? Like, you got certain, like, just certain things about yourself. It's like, we checking them off. You gotta have this, you gotta have that. Like, you gotta, I need this, and a third. But like, we might miss out on something because that guy just needs that opportunity to be shown the good love and the good support, and he could take off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. Because I always hear like, oh, you know, guys be like, well, I want the woman to cook, to clean, and that. Okay, well, we're living different times where shit is expensive as hell. So we need a little bit more teamwork. I don't have a problem being submissive. And I always said this, like, I've never met a man who matched the actions of what he said to me. And that's pretty sad. Like, for dating wise, like I've never been able, like I've been in relationships where I'm like, okay, you know, I'm waiting to see what you finna do better now, but I'm terrified to let you take the lead, because I just know that like, and I've said it in myself that if it's not done or handled or set up, is it gonna be taken care of? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I know there are things that I had to be aware of moving into anything moving forward. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't even do the checklist no more. Like, I'm trying to figure out your spirit. I'm trying to figure out your mind. Like, is this going to work? Because everybody can hustle. Everybody, you know, can get down with that. But I need a little deeper than that. Do I actually like to sit in the house with you? Am I going to miss you when I'm not there? Like, I'm going to enjoy coming home to you. Like, it's different things that I'm trying to figure out within myself, so I'm not repeating these patterns, putting myself in similar situations just with different bodies and different looks. You know what I mean? So
Waykme, hearing what you heard,
again,
what you got, what you got to input on this?
I mean, going back to this Andrew Tate thing.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you know, we all have our flaws, right? We all human.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, he's been through some stuff, or he needs to go to therapy, right? And to understand, right? Now, if I ever had a conversation with a dude, you know, with no judgment, I just asked the dude, how would he feel if a man treated his mom or his daughter like that? And whatever that answer would be, it would be, you know, because if he's content on saying all women, and then, oh, wait, hold on, it's not for my mom, not for my daughter, versus all women, it's inclusive of my mom and my daughter, then, you know, that's just where I leave that. I'm not going to give that no space. I'm happy that I didn't know of him before this conversation, and I'm happy to say I won't know of him after this conversation. So that's where I leave that.